Live from the Injured on the Go Just Call Mo studio.
It's a blast!
It's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. On Zoom with us right now from the New Blurred Order podcast, comedian Vince Taylor. How you doing, Vince?
I'm good. I'm sorry. I got a little, you know what I'm saying?
You're hot dogging. No, that's all right. He's
Wait, you're eating a hot dog right now?
He's in full baseball mode. Baseball is back. Well, it's been back, but you are. Let me see that hot dog.
Yeah, man. Y'all eat hot dogs too, right? Like, it's the thing.
What do you? Let's talk about it real quick. When you eat a hot dog, or do you put an array of different toppings on your hot dogs, or do you have a standard style of hot dog the way that you like to run your hot dog?
First of all, I just want to say, if you eat a hot dog as a grown man, you ain't got to be ashamed to eat a hot dog like a hot dog. Stop with all of this. Oh, I can't eat it from this. Like, you can eat it like this still.
Yeah, I eat mine like this. I eat them very aggressively. Yeah, I don't care. I'm with. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll literally have Tom hang a hot dog out of his zipper and I'll eat it. That's how little I care about the gayness of hot dogs. I am not that person. I've never been that person. I was getting my prostate checked before you needed it. I am so nothing makes me feel homophobic or gay or whatever. No, just not that guy. I'm not that guy.
The bear is what they call them back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm mad about hot dogs is when I'm looking at the grocery store, because my son Tommy likes hot dogs.
What's he like? What style?
A Nathan's hot dog.
That's a good choice.
And I'll make him for his lunch, and I'll make him a hot dog, put a little ketchup packet in there for his lunch
that's nice.
once a week.
That's good. You're a good dad.
And so
we run our hot dogs amazing dry. Run them dry.
I look at it, and then I'm like, wait a minute. There's two options. There's Nathan's, and then there's bun length. And then I'm like, immediately I get mad because I'm like, why didn't you make them all bun length? What the hell? Why is there even a unbun length?
Well, there's also the buns. What? And there 10 buns and 8 hot dogs.
Man,
you know what I mean?
That's another bad point. Like sometimes, and we do need to get the bun and hot dog community together to decide on an accurate on a good length, because they don't ever seem to like there's always like a little bit left like at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? When you get to the bottom of it, and so you end up pushing it back or having a little bit extra. So I agree. This is something that we need to bring up at the next town hall meeting. But you are asking about
well, they should all be bun length. No, they shouldn't even say bun length. It should be a hot dog. Of course they're bun length. That's the only length there should be.
Well, I think it is, because it's the bun originally was supposed to, like a regular hot dog. See, there's a problem here. You guys don't understand what's happening.
All right.
The regular hot dog goes inside the bun. The bun is the canoe of the hot dog, right?
Yeah, from end to end.
But a bun length goes out of the bun. When they say bun length, it's not bun length. It hangs over the edge.
From a gentleman that makes hot dogs every week, I'm telling you, the bun length hot dogs are the exact length of the bun.
They go just the length.
Yeah. They're not outside of the bun.
Well, I thought they hung just a little bit on the outside of the bun. Because I think the original hot dog was made so you can stuff ingredients on the top of it. You need a little leeway there. It's like having, you want a little give in your pants. You don't want them right on your junk like Benson Boone. You don't want Benson Boone pants on so you can see your bell in. You need a little give in there. So if you want to do relish, if you want to do a pickle slice, if you want to do hot sauce, you got some room to stuff some stuff in there. Chili.
That would be a less girthy hot dog. That had nothing to do with the length. You see what I'm saying? You pile it high, not on the sides.
Okay. But then the real problem is the length of the bun. So just make the bun the length of the hot dog, and
well, that's what I'm saying.
It should be dog length.
Okay, all right,
no, the bun should be dog length, not the hot dog being bun length. Do you see the problem?
And also, I don't never want to hear another grown man describe a hot dog as girthy. Like that's.
Well, I mean, Tommy's got a very scientific way he describes his meats.
I didn't see us going down the hot dog rabbit hole on my bingo card this morning, but I'm glad we're here. I personally am a mustard, relish, one line of ketchup kind of guy.
Okay.
But I gotta have the mustard on a certain way. Like I can't just put it down in a straight line.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It does something for my psyche. Like I gotta put it down with the squiggly line.
Okay.
Am I the only one? And so I put the squiggly down first, and then I put the relish on top of that. Then I put about 4 or 5 jalapenos on it because it gives that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
give that bite.
I like that.
It turned every meal into a meal.
Tom,
then that one little slap of hot dog. I mean, ketchup on that bit.
Tom, I like that.
That's what I'm mad about, Vince. Is you put ketchup on a hot dog?
I don't like ketchup on a hot dog.
That's for babies.
Yes.
Vince.
We are very anti-ketchup on a hot dog. In fact,
mustard only, and then whatever else, all the vegetables. I'm good with the jalapenos.
If our German food partner and beloved client, Hollerbox German Restaurant, heard that we put ketchup on a wiener, I guarantee you the whole family drive over here and choke us out. Like, you don't do that. You do not put ketchup on a sausage. Mustard only.
I will say that it is the least likely to be put on.
Okay.
One of my hot dogs. The hot dog doesn't need ketchup, but I'm not gonna sit there and lie and act like I don't ever put ketchup on the hot dog.
It'll be the nostalgia.
That little thin strip, you know what I'm saying? Just to add that little bit. And hey, you sitting there talking about vegetables. Last time I checked, ketchup was made out of tomatoes.
There you go.
And tomato is like a binary vegetable. It's like a they them type of vegetable.
It's a mainline vegetable. I feel it's in everything. We love tomatoes. We love tomatoes.
You know
That's
what?
good.
You know what's weird that never caught on that you think would in a world where we're all morbidly obese and want to overeat? Follow me with this. So in the burger world,
I have no idea where he's going.
In the burger world, it started with just one bag. Like, this is a hamburger. It's a burger with a bun on both sides. And then I don't know how far after we realized, well, let's just put 2 patties and then do a double. And then we're like, okay.
Don't you think cheese had something to do with that, though?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe that cheese did it. And then, I guess there's rarely a double or triple cheeseburger or a regular burger without the cheese.
You're referencing something my father did. You're going to talk about something my dad did, and it's real redneck.
Okay, but
I think I know where this is going, but I cannot wait. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay, well, so that the logical progression of the burger went higher and higher until we reached
more meat, better burger.
I mean, I guess they've drawn the limits at the triple burger in most fast food restaurants. They rarely go higher.
I think we can all agree that the quad is disgusting.
Yeah.
Right.
But it can go that. Anyway, we didn't do that with the hot dog. We never said, like, put 2 dogs on my bun.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
My dad would cut a cheapo Winn-Dixie brand hot dog right down the middle and fillet it flat, so it has a flat side and a double rounded booby side. Okay, you following me? So if you cut a hot dog down the center, it folds open. You'll have a flat side and a double rounded booby side. You will grill it flat side down in a pan, but you grill 2 of them. Okay. Then you will lay them crisscross, applesauce on top of white bread, and you will have the Dan Dennis white trash double dog burger. It's a double dog burger.
It's really a sandwich.
So he slices it down the middle.
He slices the hot dog down the middle. You want to leave a little bit of the skin on the backside, like attached. Yeah, to connect them. Tom's a pro. And then you flip it and you grill the flat side, and you can grill both sides. And then when you get them both dogs grilled, you lay 1 vertical, 1 horizontal, and then you put 2 pieces of white bread on it. And it's awesome.
He's eating the red, the cross from
Yes, he's eating a cross-buster hot dog. It's crisscross hot dog.
Now, I will make the argument that's more of a burger-type sandwich than it is. Rarely do they
not
put
really
it
a hot dog. You're right.
On the hot dog bun. It's like...
apparently a lot of people do this.
2 hot dogs on 1 bun?
No. Now, what about what? Now, so they did come out with the foot-long sandwich at Subway and places like that, and other restaurants. We can name a bunch, but they never went further than the foot-long hot dog. Tom, do you think that they should have maybe a 24-inch or something like that, or maybe like a double hot dog handle where you hold it with 2 hands and you gotta kind of like Lady and the Tramp it out? Like, is that what you're trying to say? Like, they need to up the hot dog game with regard to the grandiose, like the presentation of it?
I've seen at ballparks, Vince. I have seen them do an 18-inch hot dog. I have seen that.
It gets, even at Universal, they have the foot long. At Costco, they're famous for their $1.50 giant hot dogs that are way too girthy, by the way.
Yeah, I don't like them that big. I feel like one of those girls in the videos. I feel like it's me and Girthmaster. Google that guy.
Yeah, I feel like hiding my mouth.
You familiar with Girthmaster?
No.
Yeah, look him up. Look him up. GIRTHMSTR, Girthmaster. He's a white guy too. Really weird.
Yeah. Vince isn't
Weird.
curious about that. It's like Shaq doesn't Google tallest man in the world.
I know.
He already knows what it looks like. He
Yeah.
already understands.
Yeah. Vince thought I was talking about him.
So Vince, let's get down to business. Let's start with some movies coming out because there's some summer Marvel and superhero movies coming out. What do you want to start with?
Well, I mean, I think that the thing that's on the docket next is Superman, right?
Yeah.
So James Gunn and his DC verse, his DCU that he's trying to kind of push out there for the public, is he's trying to kind of be the DC version of Kevin Feige, right? Like just a head guy at the top of the pyramid who kind of orchestrates everything else, puppet master like.
Yes.
And so this is one of his first projects. One of the things that's exciting about this for nerds who followed Superman. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a Superman fan. Like I think he's the worst of most of the superheroes. I hate it when somebody is completely all powerful, can do everything, is almost impenetrable, almost completely invulnerable. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make it realistic for me. But he is popular. He's one of the first to come out in the theater.
Yeah.
So he still exists to this day. I think one of the exciting things about this project is we get a new Lex Luthor. All right. Lex Luthor, formerly Beast. His name is escaping me for right now. But I'm sure somebody will Google it. Somebody will be in the comment section.
Yeah, if you've seen the trailer, I have watched the trailer. I thought that the Lex Luthor in the trailer looked just coming in blind. I was like, that guy looks pretty scary. I enjoyed. He looks crazy.
Vince, is this the standard Superman story? Is there any deviation or?
Well, there's Crypto the dog, right? Isn't there a super dog?
Crypto is in this, so I think that's the big change. We haven't gotten a live action Crypto for real, like for the whole movie.
I don't like it, man. And I'm such a dog guy, and I got a little
Superman's dog is named Crypto.
Yeah, and he's he's punching people, like he's like attacking and protecting.
No, come on.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't. I knew you
punching
wouldn't.
People.
Yeah, he's like it's like protecting his owner. And that's when they and honestly, Vince, I have a little white dog. I didn't like that. When I saw Crypto, I know everybody loves Crypto. Oh, he looks so great. I'm like, I'm not into Crypto. And I'm a dog guy.
Did the Crypto come with Superman and the egg from his planet?
Well, that's what I'm eager to see. That's what the story will tell, because there's so many different variations of how Crypto gets to Earth.
You can't fit a baby and a dog and an egg and fly it to Earth.
Speaking of hot dogs,
Crypto would have eaten the baby.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Now that's the movie I want to see. A super dog eats a baby, then he comes down to Earth and tears Earth apart. Eats everybody.
So, dear James Gunn, for sequel ideas, have Crypto eat babies. I don't know if that's going to work, but I look forward to that. We're also getting, basically, this is kind of a wash and reset of the Superman that we've had before. Most folks were familiar with Henry Cavill as the lead for Superman. He was the guy in Justice League and Batman vs. Superman. He was the crossover, even made a guest appearance in Black Adam. And so this is the first time we're getting – now, here's what I find funny about Superman. I feel like because they started with Clark Kent as my man? I can't believe the first Superman. Remember he broke his neck.
Reeves.
Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves. My bad. Some things I do in the mornings.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I don't think that they're willing to deviate from Superman's image. You're always going to see Superman as a brunette with the S curl, with the clean shaven face. The only time we didn't see him is in Man of Steel, when they gave him the goatee when he was coming out of like the of the solitary of his when he was coming out of his moment. He was like, and he kind of had to get back into it. I want to see Superman with a shaved head, goatee, you know what I'm saying? Give him the full Rick Ross. Don't be afraid to give Superman a different look. And there's other people from Krypton. One of the things that I'm excited about is the fact that they're reintroducing Supergirl, which they already did. If you did watch oh my God, I cannot believe I'm blanking on so many superheroes right now.
Hot dogs stealing your brain.
It was the Flash. If you watch the Flash, which you shouldn't have, because Ezra Miller is not a good person.
No.
But if you did watch the Flash, then you saw the introduction of Supergirl, who is Superman's cousin. And what I love about Supergirl is she likes Superman. Superman did something different in Man of Steel, and he killed for the first time. It was a big deal. He was, but Supergirl's like, man, for what? Why are we? They're less than us. Like, we're better than them. Like, we're the better race. We're superior. Why are we pulling punches?
Oh, Supergirl's a horrible racist. And you like that. You like that.
I want to see a full, complete Krypton supremacist come to Earth. Like, why are we catering to these humans?
Yeah.
I can literally, I can light my eyes on fire and set all of them on flame. Why am I sitting there trying to get a job at the Daily Bugle?
So
how about you open the safe?
So to recap, she's a little more invincible. Like, she's a little more Omni-Man than traditional Superman is. A little more. Less of that connection to humanity, or I have to do this to save the world,
I mean,
and that's the connection I think they'll always come back to, because that's Superman, right? Superman represents the entire world. He represents humanity, I feel like, with like a big America stamped on top of it,
Right. And I love this. This is one of the things that I'm sorry that we don't get in this movie, because one of the things that I think was done brilliantly in Man of Steel was the God comparisons. They actually did have Superman they were basically casting him as a god, which is how you should think of him. I mean, when you think of God, what do you think? You think of a guy or some man. I mean, because in most of the Bibles that I've read, he's always described as a man who's outer worldly, right? He's not from Earth. He can do anything he wants at any point in time, right? And I mean, and he's better just morally. Like, I mean, he's a god.
And he knows I'm masturbating. He knows I'm masturbating.
He looks like Santa Claus lost his hat.
Exactly.
That's what I see.
Yeah, everybody knows that he's Santa Claus lost his hat.
But anyway, so looking forward to that. Now, flash forward. Superman, I believe, is June 11th. I foresee it will do decent. But thereafter, you'll get the Fantastic Four, which comes out in July. Now, Fantastic Four is another reboot. This is the third time that they've introduced the Fantastic Four. The first time they did it was with Reed Richards. Jessica Alba was playing the role of Sue Storm. Chris, the guy we know now who plays he did play Captain America, Chris Evans, was playing the Human Torch.
Yep.
The guy, Michael Chiklis, if you recall, who was known for this show called The Commish, he was Thing. All right, and then and they had their own version of Doctor Doom, which I think was pretty trash. Then they had a reboot where they brought in Michael B. Jordan as Fantastic Four. Did not go that well. They brought in the girl from House of Cards. I can't remember her name right now. But then they had old boy. I don't know his name either, but he was in a show called The Servant, who played Dr. Doom, and I still think that was one of the best depictions of Dr. Doom that we've gotten on screen. This dude was walking through the hallways, exploding people's heads just when he looked at them. Yo, what are you doing here? And the head just exploded. Like, if you haven't seen Fantastic Four, the reboot, I think it's worth a rewatch. Don't spend money on it. Bootleg it. Watch. I don't normally say that, but it's not that. It's I think it's decent. So now we get the Pedro Pascal version. All right, now we have a version, and from what I'm seeing, I haven't read a lot because I don't like to have them spoiled. It appears that this is going to be a Fantastic Four from a different Earth. We live on Earth 616. We're getting introduced to a Fantastic Four from maybe an 818, 828 type of Earth, and they're going to inadvertently, based on what I'm determining, inadvertently come into the Earth 616, into the main timeline, and bring their problems with them. The main problem being, of course, Galactus, who is the world eater. All right, Galactus, the messenger, Shalabal, who is Silver Surfer's ex, or not really, because
it's also very odd to hear that name, Galactus, the World Eater, because that's what I call my wife's vagina, and I thought that was just kind of a private thing.
Does it have teeth? Is that what we're doing?
Just power through.
Okay. Are you the world in this scenario?
I am. I'm the center of her world.
So, Vince, I did watch the trailer. Have you seen the trailer?
Okay.
No, have you seen the trailer of Fantastic Four?
Oh, have I seen the trailer? I've seen glimpses of it. Y'all know how I feel about trailers for comic book movies that I know I'm going to watch. For me, it's a spoiler, not a trailer.
Yeah.
Because I've seen too many movies, action-based, hero-based,
where
I go to the movie and all the best scenes in the movie were the ones that we saw in the trailer. So to preserve the integrity of the movie, if it's something that I know I'm going to see, I don't watch the trailer. Now, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'm like, do I want to see this movie? Let me take a look at the trailer right quick. okay, all right, it look cool. And I'm like, all right, no more. I don't want to see it no more.
So if you see something that gets you, you're like, okay, I'm done with it. I should do that.
Yeah. Like I don't need to be convinced to see the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
You got my money. I can pre-order it. It hasn't even been made yet, but I'm going to see it. I don't have to see a trailer for it. Same with Fantastic Four. I'm a little nervous. Not gonna lie, a little nervous.
Do you think any of the heat from and this is maybe a stretch, but Tom and I have been talking about this a lot. I know you're familiar with the show. Will any of the overexposure of Pedro Pascal and the heat of him not being in The Last of Us this season, and how that show has just kind of deteriorated, and especially if you read anything online, it's just all hate. So, do you think that the opening day for this particular film may take some heat from the hatred that show is getting?
You think that there's going to be some shrapnel?
But I think people are over Pedro. I think they're like, okay, you can't be the Mandalorian. You can't be. How many different things has he been? He's everything in our world. Yeah,
he was Zaddy for. Yeah, he was definitely Zaddy for a while. He was like Zaddy. Hey Zaddy. Okay, that's Mando Zaddy. Okay, now he Last of Us Zaddy. Oh my God, now he Fantastic Four Zaddy. Oh my God.
Okay, Christine is saying Dan has never been more wrong, but that's just because you're such a fangirl. You can't even see it. You're blind, Christine.
I think whoever that said, I agree. I co-sign with Christine. Christine, you are a genius. Stand up, applause for me. And the proof is in the pudding. What did you just say, Dan? You just said people are upset because of what happened with Last of Us. Why is that? That's because they wanted more Pedro.
But that's not the story. You're not going to get more. That's the story. The story is
not
the
his
story.
fault.
Yeah, no, it's not his fault. But people are emotional. I mean, people do things because they're like, I'm sick of that guy. I do that all the time.
In this one, let me go ahead, and you probably have already heard this. I'm sure your listeners and your viewers have given it to you, especially the ones who played the game. For those of us that played the game, I made a video about this. It's on my Instagram at The Real Vince Taylor and at New Blurred Order. If we played the game, you knew what was coming. You knew from the moment that the last season ended, you were like, oh boy, when they start this next season, it's going to change. Yeah, people, I don't know if they're ready. Because when we started playing the game, like we don't get all that first episode stuff that we got in the season. It started straight at the dance, and then the next thing we know, Joel is being held down, and it's like pop. We're like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And then you start, and then like the credits,
right.
Come on, right. And you're like, wow, this is how the game.
Also, the game is easier to digest, and Tom and I have been kind of talking about this because you're in control of the character, and being in control of the character seems more believable because you are actually putting effort into it. So some of that suspend disbelief of like quote a young girl fighting like a wrestling champion and then making him tap out. Some of those weird things are more believable when you have the controller in your hand.
Not only that, but possibly more importantly, since you are playing the character, you have a tendency to not hate the character.
Right, because it's you.
Yeah, Ellie is... Nobody liked Ellie.
There's a lot of unlikable characters in that game. Yes. Yeah, it's not a good people.
Show, particularly, like the girl from Game of Thrones, like she is doing the job so well that people hate her character. And that speaks to a very, very good acting technique, in my opinion. But the character is unlikable. If you play the game, she curses all the time. She hates adults. She does not respect authority. She's reckless. She gets everybody she puts everybody in danger all the time. That's the game, So when they're personifying it with this young lady, I feel like she's taking all the shrapnel from the script writers.
I can see that.
Because they made her this way. But in actuality, like that's the way she's written. But I love it. And for those who are watching it, if you did give up after Pedro had his untimely whatever, I say do not. There's so many much more complex characters. Jeffrey Wright being one of them, and you haven't even met everybody from the religious group in the woods.
There's always a religious group in the woods. Just ask Walking Dead. There's always a religious group in the woods. And one of them's a cannibal, and they keep the heads in the fish tank. Everybody knows.
Right, yeah, the terminus type. You know what I'm saying? Would y'all be, I'm curious, like...
You know why I would be a religious type, Vince? Because you can get the most amount of manipulation on the ladies that way. You bring them all in, like you're preaching in front of them, you put your yellow glasses on, you strum a guitar, you're singing some Santeria, you're wooing them with your God songs. David Koresh.
There's also a little problem with the timeline in the show because all of a sudden, you mentioned the religious group and some other things that happened. They're going into Seattle and they're like, oh, what are these Pride rainbow murals mean? Oh, they don't understand. It's like the world's only ended 20 years ago. Like I graduated college 20 years ago.
Dear God, we found hieroglyphics. What is it? It's a rainbow.
Not that much.
God, there were gays back then.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that a religious group started cutting their cheeks, all this stuff. Like in 20 years. 20 years is not that long.
Yeah, we spiraled fast.
It's not that long at all.
Also, 2 words, mud fingers. There we go. Move on.
Oh my God, yo. So I just want to ask y'all real quick. So in this world, I mean, I know Dan, you've already answered this to an extent, but Tom, what about you? So now you're faced with 2 different sects of society. One that has guns, they got structure, food, but they don't really got no drive. They just kind of living and just scavenging. The other, they have they follow the Seraphites. They're in the woods. They don't do technology, no Instagram, no Facebook, no Zoom calls.
I got to have my Zoom calls.
They're living their lives out, shooting with arrows. They gutting anybody that step on their land. Like, which do you feel would be most best fit for your family, Tom?
Well, Vince, I feel like I would start in the fortified, up the Montana, fort. And I would be there. I'd be like, all right, this is good, and everybody's got their, it's kind of a little bit socialism to me, whereas
you got a task, do your task.
You're a wall man and a plumber now, and I'm like, well, I have no choice, and that's your job. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, who are you? Who put you in charge? You're just a brother of the Pascal.
You know what I'm gonna be? Just bringing water around places.
So then, I'm
water boy.
Standing on the fence, looking out for zombies, and I'm looking out there, and I'm like, I want to see the world. I
wonder what's
stuck
out
in here.
I wonder what's out there.
I'm gonna spend my whole life in this fort, and that's it. We're just surviving, and
maybe I could get this bad attitude lesbian teen to tag along with me for a little while. Yeah. Hey, bad attitude lesbian teen, you want to hang out with me? I've done some bad stuff, and they're gonna villainize me real bad in season 2 of this show. Way worse than the game.
Yeah, I may have to get out there, Vince, and go see the world, travel around. I'm more of an adventure
You're
type.
vagabond.
Yeah.
So all right. So first thing that happens, Tom. So you decide to leave the pasture for this particular. And the first thing they say is, okay, turn in your gun, turn in your walkie-talkie, turn in your drawers and undergarments and all clothing that we have given you since you've been here, and here's a bow and arrow and a robe.
Oh. Man, now you're walking girthy through the forest. Never walk girthy.
I'm going to steal the guns, Vince. I'm leaving in the middle of the night, just like she did. Leave it with the guns. I made some sort of pact where, I am also a drug dealer on the side. You got to be the fort drug dealer. That's how
you got the connections.
You just like the therapist. She traded it for the drugs. Anyway. Point being, I'd leave in the middle of the night with as many guns as I can carry. And now the problem is then I burn the bridge of the fort.
Yeah.
And I'm going to regret that pretty soon.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah. As soon as the zombies start waking up under the snow.
Why did you burn the bridge? I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, why'd you have to do that?
I'm going to beg for my life back with Pascal's brother.
Tom, what if you wanted to stay, but one of your kids wanted to leave? And was getting on you about it. Like, bro, why are we still here? Like, look, there's a whole world out there.
Oh, he'd leave with them.
Are
you crazy?
I'll do anything they want, Vince. Because I was just be like, oh, you want to have an adventure with me? Yes. And then you steal the guns and we go have a father-son adventure. And then we'd immediately regret it. We'd be begging Max and Crystal to let us back in. And beat me in.
And are they letting you back in?
No, they can't.
How were you received?
They can't because Pascal's brother said now your family's dead to you because they left and stole our guns and a lot of supplies and the drugs.
Oh my, I'm sorry.
What would you do, Vince?
And they stole my flamethrower because that's what I would take. And then I'd be mad. I'd be like, God damn, I picked the worst weapon. The thing's heavy as hell, and it doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
Anyway,
a couple of squirts and you're done.
I cannot do this with y'all. Oh my God.
Vince,
oh my God.
let's talk about Blade. I watched the trailer for Blade 2. Not 2, but also.
I'm glad you clarified that. Thank you. Because I was like, did I miss Blade 1?
And
well, there was a Blade 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, this is a revamp, remake.
I see what you did there. A revamp. That's good.
And
ding, 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 ding.
And
Buns.
It was weird because it's a Marvel movie, but when I watched the trailer, it didn't come across like it was edited weird, and it seemed.
I haven't seen this trailer.
I don't know what it is about it, but it seemed kind of like slow and amateur, which was weird for a franchise as big as Blade, and obviously it's an Avengers movie, so it's made gigantic. So have you seen anything about it?
Tom, did you watch this on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Did it say brand new Blade trailer?
Oh, God.
Something like that.
Oh, wait, is it fake? Did
it say official?
Well, he doesn't look for official. I mean, let me just walk you through the process. You type in Blade misspelled.
No Blade project.
You type in B-L-A-D, and then you type in movie, and then you say 2025. And you hit enter, and whatever pops up, if you hit play, whatever you watch, that's what you ask Vince about.
That's what I tell thousands of people.
Blade, let me tell you, I'm glad you asked about Blade because it's going through a whole process. Blade has been in production for years, and they have not been able to nail down the production process. They've switched directors multiple times. Mahershala Ali has been in and out of the project for scheduling and other reasons, and they just have not been able to nail it down. There have been rumors that they've quit it. There have been rumors that it's on ice. There have been rumors that it's pushed back.
This is why people yell racism too. It's like, because like, why would you have? Was this not the first Marvel movie of big
that magnitude? Yeah,
they had magnitude. So it is very beloved, not only to African Americans and Black people, but also to those of us that just liked the movie when it first came out. And it does seem weird that you would take something that is this beloved, that everybody's been saying, including me, saying like, oh, I would go see that. That is something that I went to the movies last weekend. I would go see Blade just because I liked that. Me and my dad bonded over the original Blade movie. We loved it. What a great movie. What an amazing movie. But like, why take something and screw it up? That you're going to curse it because you keep screwing it up. You can't F with it that bad. And then people lose interest, and then it's got some sort of curse on it, and then it's never going to be good.
That is a very good point. And shout out to you and your dad.
What a movie.
Break from making them weird ass red cross sandwiches out of hot dogs.
Yeah, the hot dog sandwiches. We'd eat hot dog sandwiches.
He probably put some in right in his overalls too, right in the way.
Right across the top.
Go ahead, get the hot dogs crisscross. Let's go ahead. But I still credit Wesley Snipes and the original Blade movies with the birth of the success of Marvel. Like, these were the first glimpses of the potential that Marvel had with regard to them being able to put together a project that goes to the box office. Also, keep in mind, like, the first Marvel movie was rated R. It wasn't PG. It wasn't PG-13.
Right.
Like, the dude was slicing necks. There was a nasty birth scene with the mother and a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. So, yeah, we started out with Ryan Reynolds wants to claim all this fame for having the rated R Deadpool movies. Oh, no. Let's go back to – and let's also remember, Ryan Reynolds, you came up through the Blade franchise. It was Blade Trinity that gave you your first Marvel paycheck.
Yeah, the third one he was in.
With, you and Jessica
Alba.
Biel in the third installment of Blade. You all came up through these ranks, and then you became Deadpool in the Wolverine reboot with Hugh Jackman. So – I think that Blade is definitely beloved. Here's the problem, Dan. They've now given Blade standards. And anytime you do that, you're going to get angry fans either way, right? Nobody complained about Star Wars when it first came out because we're like, what the hell is this? I love it. But then when the sequels and the prequels come out, they're like, that's not what my childhood says that this is supposed to go this way. So now that Blade has standards, now that there's a threshold that it has to surpass, you're going to get people like, nah, you can't go put Blade like that. Blade supposed to kick real high in the air, and he's supposed to have, and Mahershala Ali is not Wesley Snipes. All right? If you don't know Mahershala Ali, I think what's the role that he was best known for? He was in House of Cards as well. He played Remy on House of Cards, if you watch that. But yeah, so I think that Blade is definitely being it's being slow played because they cannot get this one wrong. I'll be the first one to jump on the racism card. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think that's what's going on in this one. I think that they're literally just like, we don't want to mess this up. We got to get it right. Yeah. And it doesn't help that our boy Jonathan Majors, who was probably going to have an integral role in some of these, ended up going off and doing that thing that he did, and now we can't have him at the lead of our movies. You know, Kang Dynasty is no longer even a title of any of the Avengers movies. And it doesn't help that we just had Wesley Snipes in a Deadpool movie. Now people are like, well, we want Wesley Snipes, and Mahershala Ali is over here like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be. So they got a lot of stuff to clear up, and I honestly would hope that they get it all right. Because they can't mess this Blade up.
Yeah,
they cannot mess
the thing that worries me is having to fit Blade. This is just from a non-Marvel guy, and I think you'll understand what I mean. Because Blade, it does have a connection to me. So when I think, oh, okay, it's Marvel, it's gonna come out, and then I go, oh, how are they gonna fit it into whatever dumb Marvel story they're trying to tell over the course? I don't want a dumb, big, overreach Marvel story. I just want a really good Blade story. Because going back to your original point, the original movie Blade, when my dad got it at Box Office Video and we popped it in VHS and we hit play, when it played, we had no idea what it was, and that's why it ruled. It was really good.
There's also an aspect of Wesley Snipes playing Blade that, and I don't know.
Oh, he could have the white hair like Diddy and be doing the heart. He could be doing the heart.
Yeah, he's too old now. I understand he can't play it anymore, even though he did play it in the Marvel movie. But a small amount is like. But
he's got to stand there and nod a couple times.
But Wesley Snipes worked so well as Blade, I think, because he actually believed in real life he was a badass.
Well, he was like Elvis.
He was crazy.
He was like Elvis with the karate. He did karate Elvis.
Yeah, like because.
He knew just enough karate to be sort of dangerous. He was smoking weed and throwing it off his motorcycle.
Because we all know Wesley Snipes is a little nutty. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why he went to jail for not paying his taxes. Like, not because he just messed up. He told the government, he's like, sovereign citizen. I don't know. I'm not
sovereign citizens make the best actors.
And then.
They did.
And then you hear other stories about Wesley Snipes and like other movies and stuff, and you're like, oh, this guy's crazy. And then when he played Blade, I believe that he believed he was Blade in real life. And that's what made it good.
Vince, do you know the story they put in the chat room? The best Blade story is that on one of the scenes, Wesley Snipes had his eyes closed, and they asked him to open his eyes, and he refused. So they had to go in and CGI his eyeballs on. That, my friends, when they have to go in and CGI your open eyeballs on, that's awesome.
Yeah, we could tell, that's what makes it. You're like, what's interesting about this guy? Like, he's like, it doesn't seem like he's an actor. He's crazy as hell.
Yeah, hold on.
And that's what made it work so well.
Vince, they said my favorite Blade. It was Blade 3. My favorite Blade 3 story is when Wesley Snipes refused to open his eyes for a scene, and they had to CGI his eyes on in post production.
Refused to. I mean, I'll have to do some deep diving on that because I really got to understand when we're gonna have Wesley Snipes on. Is he on next week?
I would love to. I would love to have him on. I mean, like, that's right up there with DMX in the limo refusing to get out.
Yeah.
I love
it. Crazy.
I love wasting time.
Like, you don't.
Let me just say this real quick because I know we got to go pretty soon.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect time to actually incorporate Wesley Snipes along with Mahershala Ali's character because they are embedded in the time. In the multiverse.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It would work now.
The same way we had Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland and we had Tobey Maguire all in the Spider-Man movie is the same way we can have the old Blade versus the new Blade in the same movie representing different universes but coming together to defeat whatever villain that may be. So who knows if that'll be the case, but it seemed like a real easy script, right? So if y'all need help with that, Kevin, hit me up, man.
They'll probably do that, right? I mean, it makes perfect sense, and everybody would be excited about it. It would be the only thing that I could see that would make this movie exciting to people, although you'd have to hide it. you couldn't reveal it in the trailer. It wasn't in the trailer. Like there wasn't no hinting of old
that
Blade.
wasn't a trailer.
That was a fake trailer.
Oh,
remember? Like, did you just forget that? Like, they told you 5 minutes ago it was a fake trailer. And
was it totally fake, or was it?
What they do is they make clip-based trailers. They take movies and shows and things, and
Hold
then they take
on.
some stuff
Look,
and they just put them all in a little goulash.
Google Blade trailer and tell me.
I will do it right now. Blade.
It showed up at the top of. It showed up at like the top of.
Is that it? Right there? This one right here?
Yeah. It
Blade
says Marvel.
trailer?
It says Marvel.
Okay.
It's a sentence.
Like Tom the dude
is a monster.
Oh, hold on. It's playing. I gotta stop it. It's
right.
too loud. It's all crazy. Sorry, Vince. Hold on. Yeah, I don't.
So there is no official trailer out.
There's no movie. There's nothing been shot. They haven't shot anything. Like
He doesn't believe you. I'm sorry.
Well, the internet. I believe the internet.
I'm sorry, Vince. You are saying something, and I'm looking at a trailer. It says Marvel Studios Blade teaser trailer 2024, and then it says
No, this came out. Look at Blade 2025. I tell you, it came out. Superman it was next to Superman and Avengers, the Secret Wars.
All right, which one is it? This one right here?
Oh wow.
Well, that's got Wesley Snipes in it.
You got to go to Ask Jeeves. Type in Google.
Yeah, I'm on Ask Jeeves right now, and it says it's coming out.
I only asked Jeeves. You see?
He can't tell the difference between what's real and what's fake.
No, he can't.
It's a digital butler.
Hollywood. I think if you was Eddie Murphy back in the day, you probably would have. Oh snap! That was a girl. I mean, that was a man.
You know what's so funny, Vince, is when I did type in Blade trailer 2025, there are thousands of fake trailers. Thousands. I mean, just thousands.
Take a pic, Tom. But I'm glad you're interested, Tom. You know what I'm saying? So keep looking up the trailers. We'll keep talking about them. Look, you know what? Maybe I'll make a trailer, and maybe you'll bring it up to me next time.
All right, buddy.
Last movie, Mission Impossible. And this is I've seen a ton of stuff about Tom Cruise doing his own stunts, and like I saw some clip on social media recently of them like praising Tom Cruise, or like he's riding on the side of a plane and directing at the same time. Making it like what?
No, he's not.
Yeah, that's what they said.
No, he's not.
He's changing the focus. Wow.
No, he's not.
He's his own cameraman.
And he's like, action, and he's holding on. He's like, cut. Circle back around. No, he's not.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
He's doing these.
Everything is a lie. The Blade trailer, Tom Cruise, everything is fake.
He's cooking hot dogs. Yo, I don't think Tom. Look, all right. My wife doesn't acknowledge Tom because she thinks that he is a cult leader. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
Well, I mean, he is kind of weird.
Yeah, the whole Scientology thing, is a little. Hey, you ain't allowed to talk to your family. Okay, yeah, I got that point. But this dude is jumping off buildings, doing his own stunts. And he's 62 years old, bro.
Yeah,
the dude is 62 years old. There's people that do stunts that don't got nothing to do with no building, no wire. Wesley Snipes didn't want to open his eyes.
Excellent point.
You know what I'm saying?
It's impressive. That's the funniest thing you've ever seen.
Just the fact that he's 62 and doing his own stunts, give him all the awards. I don't care how many people can't see their families. I don't care how many people got to cut off their kids and their family. Look, this dude is writing, directing, riding bikes, and he is single-handedly employing Ving Rhames outside of Arby's. Come on, man. You got to give that man his credit. Like, he is not getting enough flowers, in my opinion. And I ain't never used to look. Tom Cruise for me is Jerry Maguire. Show me the money.
So you know the latest rumor, and we can end on this. This is a great ending rumor. Okay. Do you know the latest rumor is? And it's supposed to be in writing and pre-production development. That character that he does in Tropic Thunder, Tony. Who's the character?
The producer, fat bald guy.
The fat bald guy. The Tony whatever guy, that character that Tom Cruise does, is getting a full-length motion picture with him starring in the suit and doing a full-blown movie.
Really?
Yes. That's supposed to be happening. That is supposed to be happening.
Here for that. I am here for it, and I hope they bring Robert Downey Jr.'s character back where he think he black and forget that he ain't white no more.
Les Grossman. Les Grossman is the character. I thought it was Tony, but Les Grossman, they're supposed to bring his character back, because apparently Tom Cruise absolutely loves doing it. And when he's in the outfit, they said they can't stop him. He's jumping all around. They have to beg him to get out of makeup because he just loves running around as the persona.
I would the dance he was doing.
Yeah. They and apparently I heard that he wanted. Like, he made that character up himself.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. Like,
so we may get it, and it may be crazy.
Like, Ben Stiller didn't. That character was Tom Cruise's whole idea. Anyway.
Yeah, apparently it's all him.
Go back and look at his character. Look at his forearms. They look like Hobbit feet.
Yeah.
And the way they stitch the hair. Oh, it's great. It's
it's the best part.
I want one of those latex suits so bad, so I can run around Orlando just acting crazy.
Imagine Tom Cruise, like day to day, outside of the stunts and the movies and stuff, like just day-to-day normal living Tom Cruise. Like, what? That must be a bizarre household.
Very intense. Did you put stevia? Did you put stevia in my coffee? Yeah. You know I don't do stevia.
I've heard from people that have had interactions with him. They've all said he's a super nice guy.
I've never heard anything bad about him, really.
Except for the crazy Scientology.
But it gives like too nice, right? Like Dexter nice. Like, like I'm all good on the surface, but in the basement, like there's a family.
Yeah,
like,
there's obviously stuff to unpack there, but I think it's just a level of intensity that we don't have.
I mean, if he was an alien, we'd all be like, okay, that'd be all right.
Yeah, that checks out.
Might still be. I'm not gonna let go of that idea that he could be.
Yeah. Vince, where can people hear New Blurred Order podcast?
New Blurred Order is on YouTube predominantly. If you're on the YouTubes at New Blurred Order, website just got reposted, so newblurredorder.com is also dope. And yeah, man, check your boy out. And next week, I'm gonna bring some footage. I'm gonna go to the LA Dodgers game in St. Louis. I'm gonna report on that a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Starting to get a little bit into that baseball stuff. But most importantly, man, catch your boy right here with Tom and Dan. Every time I get the call, I'm gonna show up. But yeah, forward to on into the YouTube as well.
Appreciate you, man.
And we're gonna tease it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's still in the works, but me and Vince have been working on doing something this summer.
Yeah.
A little get together, maybe watching a movie.
Maybe
so
some hot dogs involved.
We're close, Vince. I'll text you later about it.
All right, let me know about that glizzy.
All right, man. See you, Vince.
See ya.
Later, buddy. Vince Taylor live from his palatial sports compound.
We will see you tomorrow. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube, and you can join us. Just search for @TomandDanLive wherever you watch your podcast. Like and subscribe. We'd certainly appreciate it.
The Orlando Science Center has their, this Saturday coming up, Science Night Live.
Science Night Live, man.
And it's your opportunity to enjoy the Science Center and that brand new exhibit on superheroes.
Yes, DC superheroes.
And walk around the Science Center, enjoy a drink, great hangout with your friends, date night.
Nice little adult-only date night sort of a deal.
And Jeff is here from the Orlando Science Center. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, what's going on, man?
And our next guest, he's an astrophotographer. He is a planetarium director.
Yeah.
He's an adventurer.
Yeah, it looks
which
like
I like. That's my favorite.
This man knows his way around some masks and snorkels and scuba diving equipment I saw, and we have been marching around the old Peace River now and again.
Yeah.
You and I like that.
Derek Demeter's here. How you doing, Derek?
Hey, man.
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Appreciate you being here, man.
So first, let's talk about Science Night Live this Saturday. Derek, you're one of the speakers at Science Night Live, and that's a cool thing because there's specific speakers for the night and different events. And again, though, just walking around the Science Center with other adults enjoying some drinks is a great way to enjoy the Science Center.
Yes. Tom, Science Night Live is our 21 up night. We do it about 4 times a year. This is the one that kicks off the summer. It is themed around superheroes because we have the cool DC superheroes exhibit. We're encouraging people to come in costume. If you want to wear your Superman cape, that is the night to do so.
Hey now.
And so we have some really cool speakers like Derek. We've also got a great filmmaker named Amy Giannotti that's going to talk about how she uses filmmaking to be an advocate for environmentalism. We're going to have superhero trivia. We're going to have a Science of Superhero show. We've got some cool movies on the giant screen theater. Plus, you've got cash bars on every floor. We've got some awesome food partners. So it's going to be a really fun night at the Science Center this coming Saturday.
Yeah. And it's giant with AC. It's awesome. I mean, I mean, those are things you got to, it goes without saying. I just like to throw in the air conditioning thing as we all sweat ourselves into summer. That, I mean, even if you go there and let's just say you have a migraine headache, that nothing that Science Night Live would help you there, but you're still going to have a great time. You're still going to have a wonderful time in the AC.
Yes.
So, Derek, before we talk about Peace River, because I remember when this happened, and I was like, oh, he's the guy that I was telling my wife, I was like, they found a mammoth bone. I'm like, I want to find a mammoth bone. Let's bring the scuba diving equipment. Who can't just shark teith? That's stupid.
Yeah, that's for babies. We'll get some mammoth bones, man. Get some big stuff out of there.
Before we talk about that, how does one become an astrophotographer, and what exactly does that mean?
So astrophotography is exactly astrospace, stars, photography. But really, a lot of it comes down to just, first off, you got to not be afraid of the dark. You know, obviously, you got to be out there at night.
All right.
Generally, you're out in the middle of nowhere because you need a nice dark sky. So you got to have a little bit of, some, that's the benefit of, when you scuba dive for fossils, you have also the courage to go out in the middle of the night and middle of nowhere to do some cool photography. But really, it comes down to just having interest in space, having interest in astronomy, also just having an interest in doing photography. And it requires a little extra skill set. You generally have to be really good about, your focus. You have to be really good about, being able to align your frame out in the dark. It's not like where you can just hear the light, you can just go, oh, that's what it looks like. So there's a lot of experimentation to it. But really anybody can do it as long as you have a camera and you have an interest in going out and exploring the night sky.
Do you remember the first thing you shot, like on your journey to become an astrophotographer? Do you remember the first thing you shot and you're like, oh man, this is for me, or that's a different way of taking photos?
So there's two particular experiences. First one was I was taking photography classes in high school, and we used the really super fast ISO film camera, and I took a really terrible night sky shot with like the star trails and all that, and I kind of didn't really get into it until about 2000 and I think maybe 9-ish or so. I was at a star party up in North Carolina, and my friend had a little adapter. You could put your DSLR onto the telescope, and I took this really crappy image of the Orion Nebula. But back then it was like, oh my gosh, I got the nebulosity, and I got that, and it just became an addiction.
Crappy for the time,
exactly.
But
I look at it now and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I? But then you just got to start somewhere, right?
Derek, how many people I found it absolutely amazing when it was hard to believe. I'll explain. I was out in Utah, and there was an area inside Arches National Park that is known for stargazing and looking at the sky at night, and because there was very little light pollution because it's out in the middle of nowhere. And then sometimes it's kind of like the bioluminescent trick, where you see pictures of bioluminescence and you see these videos, and then you're like, wow, and then you see it in real life, and you're like, oh, okay, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But the pictures make it look better
it's
because
like Dan Newland's eyeballs. They blast out. They blast the saturation, so his eyes are so blue they hypnotize you when you're watching Judge Judy. And I'm like, oh my God.
And then you're like, well, it's not like it was in the videos and pictures because they enhanced it, and they were like, yeah, but we wanted to make it look better for the pictures.
Right.
There's well, they're better than real life. And so then I was kind of expecting that. I was like, it can't, I was going to be underimpressed when I saw it, and then we went out there, and when you see the night sky with no light pollution, it blows your GD mind. You can't even fathom. You're like, what? When you see the Milky Way with your own eyes, you're like, whoa, what? And then you're like, there's way more stars than I've ever experienced, and then you realize, I spent my whole life just living next to a city and population, and like so I remember seeing a couple stars like
light pollution and sound like city sound pollution or something that like once you get out into the wilderness, you actually I'm sure you get some of that too in some of the remote locations that you're taking photos that where you get like this very almost like I don't know, for lack of a better term, meditative.
Oh
kind
yeah,
of a
100%.
state.
Yeah, exactly.
And did you see the picture of the night sky that was released recently from Mars? I'm sure.
Yes.
You saw it. Yeah.
Yes. Unbelievable.
That looks
unbelievable.
I thought it was fake again. Look at the trailer.
Well, so much of what we look at is fake
I know,
now.
yeah.
So when we see something that is an amazing technological achievement, we're kind of like, I don't know.
So there are pictures of the night sky from Mars, and you can't. There's barely any black spots. There's so many stars grouped together that there's only like little black blotches in the sky. The rest of the sky is like 100% stars, like to the point where it looks fake. And why is that? Because there's no atmosphere.
Yeah,
no
that's
light
exactly
pollution?
it. Is that Mars is very, very its atmosphere is very thin, so you have basically almost 1,000 times more transparency in the sky than you do here on Earth. So a lot of that starlight does get slowly absorbed by their atmosphere. But if you were to leave the Earth's atmosphere out into outer space, it would be just unbelievable how, like, ultra 4K HD, where you want 1,000K resolution in terms of the sky. Interestingly, I got a chance to go to Chile, and one of the observatories is at 16,000 or almost 17,000 feet.
Okay.
And because of the lack of oxygen, your brain can only process so much light.
Yeah.
But what they did is they put me on oxygen, and it's so weird. It was like when you put the oxygen mask on, you look up at the sky. All of a sudden, it's like they took the little like fader and increased the fader, and you saw these stars just like appear
because like your brain coming back.
Your brain
alive.
is exactly.
Really? I've never heard of that.
It was the most insane
this.
thing I've ever. That's one of the like top things of my life experiences. Was like just looking up and just all of a sudden seeing like again somebody took like a fader and went shh, and then all of a sudden the starlight got.
And what
even
level
more
were
intense.
you at?
About 17,000 feet. So we're pretty much above the brunt of the thickest part of our atmosphere. So that's another reason why there's so many observatories in Chile, is because you're way up there. It's very clear and dry. It was incredible.
So there's a certain amount of time. You just blew the chat room's mind. So there's a certain amount of time you can do that. Then you can't stay up there studying. You can't just slap on your oxygen mask and go to town.
I mean, you could survive. I mean, you're not at the what they call the death zone, where you got the high altitude, but it's definitely from a perspective of our way our brain can interpolate the light that's coming through us. We're limited on the amount of oxygen deprivation, but obviously we could still function. But having that supplemental oxygen at that altitude, it was incredible. So what I'm getting at with this is that if you're on Mars at lower altitude, you'd have a similar view of the night sky because of the lack of atmosphere. So it kind of when you mentioned that, kind of was like that was kind of what it was like being in the Atacama Desert at high altitude. So.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would venture to guess a lot of people haven't seen the night sky without light pollution.
Not many.
And there's even places in Florida. And what's good about the internet now is that they'll tell you where to go, and there's places over on the coast and stuff, and that have less light pollution, that you can see the sky better in Florida. So you don't have to go in the middle of a desert. Like you can go just travel to a place with what's the term for it? It's just like I guess it's not dark skies, but it's there's some term with like stargazers have for like little to no light pollution.
Meaning
area.
like a virgin sky. Or something.
There's what's called the Bortle scale, which is 0 means oh my gosh, super dark, to 10, which is like right outside the door here.
Like a city. Yeah. And then so you
know who invented that? It's Blake Bortles' grandpa.
A
lot of people don't know that.
The football
famous
player.
Jacksonville Jaguar quarterback Blake Bortles.
He's
got home of the wobbler.
One of the best interviews on the internet, by the way. Go look that
Yeah,
up.
look that up. Yeah. That's it. Just do it later.
So let's talk Peace River, because I remember when you found this mammoth bone, because it made social media.
We also didn't know we were talking to you today, so it was one of those times, and we have a lot of these because we're kind of dumb, and we'll be looking at something, and Jeff always brings an amazing guest for us, and then we're like, oh, it's the guy, and we did one of those. We did one of those like, oh, it's the guy.
So I've been going to Peace River every year since the 90s,
30 years.
and then of course the shark teeth, and then some people will find like megalodon teeth and
You
like
got
bigger
a really
fossils.
pretty one on there.
I do,
Yeah. Oh my God, you look fake. Again, it's like a beautiful tooth.
So, but you found a giant mammoth bone.
I did, yeah.
So talk about that day.
Yeah, so me and my buddy, Henry, who's also a middle school teacher over at a school in St. Pete, we are the dynamic duo. We do a lot of diving together, a lot of scuba diving. Never a good idea to just go scuba diving by yourself, folks.
Yep.
Just remember, that's my little public service announcement or whatever.
You fly right in the face of Captain Tom.
right, yeah.
I do that all the
solo
time.
mission.
I'll go straight into a cave.
Right.
He calls him solo cave Tom.
How much air you have? I have no gauge.
Yes,
I
folks,
can
do
tell.
not do that. Do not.
Yeah, please don't.
But anyways, we were out in the river, and my buddy Henry was like, dude, I feel he felt like a log. He felt like a typical like a log. He's like, dude, I don't think this is a log. So I got over there. We started excavating, and we were able to find a large humerus bone for a Columbian mammoth. So that would be the bone at the front leg. Basically, it's the top part that connects down to the tibia, if you will. And basically, it was incredible. It was first off, thing weighed a million pounds. I mean, because it was dense with water.
Yeah, it's 4 foot.
yeah.
I mean, this thing is huge.
Crazy.
I'm guessing still porous and absorbed.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
liquid.
It took like I think over 5-6 months for it to fully like evaporate out, and it actually lost a significant amount of weight.
Do you have to contain that so you don't necessarily lose something that could be precious within the bone?
Thankfully, no, because most of those bones in the Peace River are highly phosphatized. So it means it's very dense. I have found mammoth bones in other rivers here in Florida that are very like you touch it and it like falls apart and you have to stabilize it. It's more like what you would do with dinosaur bones out west, where like you look at it the wrong way and it disintegrates.
Yeah.
And it's but
so
those
this was
bones
kind
are
of
very very dense.
A unicorn then, in the fact that it was.
Yeah, very
hard.
nice and dense and very, very stabilized.
So people that haven't gone to the Peace River may not know it is tannic, dark
Yes.
water.
It's like-
It looks like iced tea.
To the point.
it's
darker,
exactly.
really.
My son.
Don't drink it though.
No.
What? You're not supposed to drink it? Me and my friends.
Maybe a
do
little
whole
lemonade. Put that
thing.
lemonade.
They do a ceremony.
Yeah, we're
it's
drinking lots of
crazy.
it.
They're putting blood on their chest. Like Predator.
Don't give our secrets away, okay? That's what we do.
But my son lost his glasses, and I saw him lose them.
You did.
Right? I
knew the area.
And I'm like, okay, well,
Like 2 feet.
even the current drag, it's got to be in this 20
And it was
foot.
shallow, dude.
And then me and my wife were diving down. It was like we could stand, and my wife is holding my legs, and I had goggles on, but you can't see the bottom until it's 6 inches from your face. So like
Dark in
literally,
there.
it is like doo-doo brown, and then all of a sudden you get about 6 inches from the bottom, and all of a sudden like, oh, there's sticks, and then it's very hard to see.
Yeah,
so,
we usually carry about 8,000 lumens of dive lights on our we have helmets. First off, we have helmets because I don't know how many times I've hit tree limbs underwater. I've had gators bump me in the head before. I'm one of those. We were. But the best part about this whole discovery, by the way, is that we were Florida men discover bone. So I am a legit Florida man.
I love it.
I feel very
Florida man.
I'm a
That's
born
you.
and raised Florida man. But yeah, we have huge lights that kind of. It's still dark, but it illuminates probably close to about maybe a foot to 2 feet of visibility at that point.
How deep does it ever? Because it's very shallow where we go. Like, what's the deepest it gets for you?
So it could get to 12, 16 feet deep, but generally, on average, it's between 5 to maybe 8 feet where we go. But places a lot of people go to like sift and look for sharks. We're looking like less than a foot deep at some areas.
So and I've looked this up before, and like because people have asked me, my friends are like,
you also looked up the Blade trailer this morning too. We looked up
the damn internet.
He looked up a Blade trailer this morning.
No.
Watched the whole thing and was so happy about it. No movie. It was fake.
But like people ask, like, why are there so many sharks' teeth and fossils in Peace River? What's special about it? And I'm like, well, I think there's sharks' teeth and fossils everywhere in Florida. It just is concentrated in Peace River because that's from the water flowing for so many years. It basically has made them like it naturally concentrated the shark's teeth and the bones.
Are you telling or asking?
I don't know, Derek.
So there's actually different layers. So the bottom of the river is actually what's called Miocene. So we're looking like 20 to 15 million years old. That's where the megalodon and all that stuff, the marine stuff. And then as the river floods over the summer, it increases obviously in volume and it cuts through the ice age layers. The bones will naturally erode out and they'll fall and tumble into the river. And you do that for thousands of years and all of a sudden you accumulate tons of gravel of bones and things like that. So that's exactly. But the thing with the mammoth leg bone is that just eroded out of the river. I mean, that's why it stayed so preserved, because of the fact that it was just immediately covered in sand, right, naturally eroded out. We were diving when the river was a little higher than normal, so
oh my God, what a dice roll, man!
It was just a luck of the thing, and that's what it is. So a lot of times, the best time to go is to dive, when the river's starting to go down, because that's when all the fresh fossils have eroded out of the of the layer. So
good to know.
Little pro tip there.
Yeah, there you go. Not that we're out there looking for mammoth bones all the time.
Well, I'm gonna do next year.
I know he's bringing his gear now.
What's crazy is that there were old timers or people that are back in the 1940s. I would trip over mammoth teeth and leg bones. Like, can you imagine? Back in the day, you're just wandering around. There's just bones everywhere. Just laying everywhere.
Well, it's like the old videos of Florida beaches in the 60s, and then some like 1960s dads with his family, and they're like, hey, kids, look at this giant conch shell. It's just washing. They're holding a full pristine, like out of the
bigger than your head,
bigger than a football conch shell that just washed out. They're like, like untouched.
No big deal.
Yeah. You're tripping over.
I got 700 of these at home.
You'd never even pick up a shark. The whole beach of sharks.
Yeah. I don't find shells anymore.
Yeah, I found a sand dollar.
Did you?
Yeah. Back when we went Minnesota Key, and I was super excited. And but like my mom and Crystal's mom, like, oh, sand dollars in the the 80s and 70s used to be all over.
Oh yeah.
And then like
my
people
grandma would bring them, and I set them outside of the garage, and my dad would be like, "It smells like fish in here." My dad was yelling because they were alive, and you know how it goes as a young Florida trash child. What is your favorite thing of the cosmos that you've ever photographed? Do you have something that maybe you continue to take photos of and you haven't gotten that shot right yet?
All right, well, so I'll tell you one that recently happened in the last couple of years that I was like, this is my bucket list item, because of the solar maximum, the fact that the sun was had more energy to it. We got to see the aurora. So I got a photograph of palm trees with the northern lights here in Florida. And that's one of my Instagram photos. And it's something that's common to, like, I got my buddies that live in Montana and Minnesota, and they're like, another day. And I'm like, no, I want to get a picture of palm trees with the northern lights. You could not get any more epic Florida than that. And that I would say that to me, at least in terms of unique. And probably like one of those things that might only happen maybe a few more times in my life if I'm lucky.
That's what I like about it, is that it's a rare occurrence.
Exactly. So I would say that would be probably
cool.
And it was just like, I was like, and when I got the picture, when I saw the image for the first time, I literally 5-year-old jumped up and down like in the middle of the woods.
I love that. I love that.
I was like, oh my gosh, I got that thing. That was just me.
Are there differences to you in using like digital photography and like standard film photography? Are there?
No, I don't really use film anymore. But the coolest about the digital is that the cameras, you can remove the filters out of them to get more of the visible spectrum of light. So you can actually enhance them and collect light for very faint objects. You can't do that with film. not really well anyway. So there's a lot of benefits to using.
Well, it's not a sensor; it'd be paper, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So
I'm trying to do the math there in my brain of like when I took photography class, and I was wondering if there would be, because I knew it probably wouldn't go in the direction of old technology, but I was wondering if some guys try to do that because like with vinyl, you hear people like, oh, it's vinyl sounds the best.
Yeah.
Is that the case for doing astrophotography? I would imagine no. We need the best technology and the best lenses and everything and the most light and.
Well, the other thing too is that what we usually do in astrophotography is we don't just use a single image. We use multiple images because the more you can, what's called increasing the signal of light, you can bring those fainter things out in much greater detail. So with a digital camera, you have the camera just sit there for hours just taking shots, and then when you get home, you can then process the images and get that really nice, clean, just a lot of detail. So
also, what you're photographing? Come on, Dan. Also, what you're taking a picture of is moving.
Yes, so you have to use a sky tracker. So I have these special sky trackers. You hook up to the camera to it, and then it slowly moves against the motion of the Earth. You always have to have the position towards the North Star. So you have to know a little bit. If you want to get legit with this, you got to know a little bit of how the night sky works, how the Earth turns, all that good stuff.
That's cool.
Derek, I don't know if you think about this, but I'll tell you I do.
This could go anywhere, too. This is where you see Jeff. I slowly turn up Jeff's Zoom camera. It's totally faded out. Oh, he left the meeting.
Because sometimes
he's deep in thought right now.
I'll try to figure out the universe and like
don't you do it around bedtime with your sons? You do daddy universe time.
And then I come to the realization that statistically, because my lifespan is so short, because you start looking at the time, and that's another thing that bothers me is I can't. My brain can't comprehend these gigantic numbers and infinity and what, like even the number trillion.
He lays up all night just
I can't even comprehend a billion.
So mad at trillion.
So it's like when they explain the size of the universe, I'm like, it's impossible to comprehend. And then
he just got 1 billion last year.
And then when the time of the universe is impossible for me to comprehend, but what I do kind of understand is my lifespan and the time of the universe is it is just tick. And then I'm like, I'm most likely we're not going to discover anything that's really awesome that is life-changing.
Why bother?
And I'm like, because we need time for science to progress.
So are you telling him you're mad of the time you're living in because nothing good's going to happen?
Well, is something good going to happen, Derek? Are we going to discover anything that is like a wow moment before
he wants a big
end?
wow.
Yeah. Like the next 40 years. That's all.
So as I said, as a college. Since I work at a college, I teach college students. I also bring in school groups from K through 12. I talk to a lot of different people, public, all that good stuff. And what I tell a lot of my students, especially the college students, is say, listen, look, there's this little spacecraft right now called Europa Clipper that's on the way to Jupiter right now. And it's going to take about 6 years to get there.
Okay, all right.
So, and how old is your son now?
Oh God, you put me on the spot.
His birthday was yesterday, so you might get this. You might get this.
There's a rhyme I had. He's 11. He's 11.
Okay, so he's
not
going
in
to be
heaven. He's 11.
So 6 years from now, he'd probably get pretty close to either graduating high school or getting close to.
Oh, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up.
Well, long story short, so
you'll be working at the liquor store.
So the Europa Clipper mission, its primary mission is to possibly look for evidence of life on another moon of Jupiter. So in the next 6 years, there are going to be teams of scientists that are going to start collecting the data from the spacecraft when it finally makes it to Jupiter, and we may potentially find that there are little organisms on another world.
That's
and
badass.
Your
awesome.
son could end up going to college, become an astronomer or an engineer, and could be potentially working on these missions that could discover life elsewhere. We're getting close to that.
He could also be fighting these bug creatures.
That's true. That's true.
In what's my favorite movie?
Space
Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
And then taking co-ed showers. The future's looking bright, guys. All right, Jeff, I'll cut that out. I'm sorry. It's the whole point of me saying that was co-ed showers, and everybody Everybody knew it. You all knew it.
So now, why on that particular moon do they think there could be a possibility of life? Is there water?
Water.
Yeah.
There's actually more water by volume than on that little moon, which is very tiny, no bigger than Mercury. A little bit smaller than that, but about the same size. So again, very small object. Has more water by volume than Earth does. So there's just so much water there.
Is it the same water?
Yeah, it's
like is it water when
water.
we get up there? Is it water?
Well, there's heavy water, but it's not heavy water. Heavy water is when like a neutron attaches to the water and it becomes. But this is just like water, and there's salts there. There's silicas. There's all the stuff that's necessary for life to form on that moon.
Oh, this is where all the rich people are going to fly their spaceships, right? Is that what's going to happen?
Well, there's life here. Why would they go there?
No, they're going to get away from us because we're ruining this one.
They're going to turn into Floston Paradise. See, that's what I did there.
Yeah,
there we go. It's
exactly.
Gonna be the future Floston Paradise.
It's like what Neil deGrasse Tyson says, where he's like, they're like, you think you could transform Mars into a livable planet? And he's like, oh, if we had the technology to do that, we'd save our planet.
That's exactly right. That's what I tell people all the time. If we could do that to Mars, we could do that to Earth. A lot easier to do it that way.
Why would it go over there? Hey, that's a hard one. Like, let's just.
But everybody knows what it's
not
like.
that bad yet.
But we all know what it's like to be a child drawing a picture, and we all draw the first picture, and then it's bad, and we go, let me start over, and you grab a new piece of paper.
So
new piece of paper feels good.
Derek, what do you think would happen when, if in 6 years they find some microorganism and the proof of that? I'm sure a lot of scientists won't be surprised because they're like, well, in all these different places, like all the building blocks are there, so it's like it's probable that there is something.
Like, of course,
and so it's like it won't be surprising, but like to everybody else, you think. A lot of people won't believe it. We live in a world where like any story comes out fake news.
You guys are kind of fighting that on the science side of things, right?
I just had a meeting with another event that we're doing, and it's getting. Actually, let me circle back. So the mammoth bone thing has been getting a lot of revisiting recently.
And
a lot of it's because AI bots are literally now posting this discovery. And don't look at the comment section. That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
And everybody's like, "Why is he looking like that? He must be AI." And I'm like, "Oh gosh." So
it's weird how those
look
things
at his hands, man. I know AI.
Get like pop back up after because it happened in 2021,
it feels like forever now.
Right.
But it recirculates the internet, and then I'm sure people are like, "This is fake." They don't know what's real. Like this can't be real. Mammoths. People are like, that's not real.
well, that's another thing too. Is I normally don't do this, but because it was me, I literally went in that chat and said, "Hey, I'm the guy. This is my pictures. Here's a couple of other pictures," and people still thought it was fake. So I was like, you know what? It is what it is.
It's like fighting politics online. It's like, don't even bother.
From now on, I just kind of just say, you know what? There's always going to be a group of individuals that are just, no matter what you can do. Like I made this reference about landing on the moon. It said you could literally take somebody, fly them to the moon, land them on the moon, have them touch the moon, and they'll still say it's a virtual simulation or something like that. You just can't win. So you just kind of not forget about it, but there's sometimes you can't always get everybody's attention. You have to focus on the people who genuinely want to know and give them the right information.
I always say, like, who cares what these people believe? They're
bunch of morons.
They're not the ones that are running
That's why they're not scientists.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares what I believe? It doesn't matter. So, Derek, what going back to the mammoth bone, is it worth a lot of money? Could you sell it? I know that your buddy has it in his classroom currently. I saw the story.
God, don't give out the location. Is it worth a lot of money, and where is it?
I was just curious if there's collectors out there that are buying mammoth bones.
In the latest Indiana Jones video game, they come back and they steal all your artifacts, and they take them, and that's how the game starts. Well, artifacts are big business.
We talked to Dino Jimmy just about like people buy full fossils and stuff for private collections, like super rich dudes. And you got
any rich dudes breathing down your neck trying to buy
Thankfully, no, because at least I haven't had anybody ask me about it, but they are worth money. But they're not like, it's not like, like with dinosaurs, it's a lot worth. Dinosaur bones are a lot more valuable. Yeah. But these bones can go for thousands of dollars. But but they aren't incredibly rare either. They're not like super duper like rarest ever, but they're more uncommon. But what made it so exciting, I think, to it was just the sheer size.
Yeah,
huge. And the fact that we had these elephant creatures roaming Florida, 10,000, 100,000 years, or not 100 million, but a million years ago. But but they're not like super like worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But they're definitely not like just throw them in the flea market or something, for $10. So. But generally speaking, no. And plus, I think also when you mentioned, I don't know, maybe there are some people that really do value education. When you say you were both educators, you want to put this in a place where kids can see it and stuff. Then they're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not going to be that guy that's going to just try to take their bone away or whatever. It's for the kids.
It does seem like, and I think that's why we value you and guys like Dino Jimmy. It does seem like you guys are always rooted in a place of like education. I want to show this to other people. I want to share it. I'm not here to like stick it in my man cave. I hate that when Dino Jimmy's telling us about like, there's this rich guy bought a Tyrannosaurus and just stuck it in near his bar. He's drinking Bud Heavies next to it. No, that's just not, you don't even care about that thing. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, is there any like bucket list place you want to dive? Because you're a scuba diver.
We haven't been in a minute. You have. I haven't been in a long time.
I saw you diving. Was it what springs was it recently on your Instagram? Was it
Paradise Springs?
Paradise Springs? Yeah, and like cave diving, it's super interesting, but also there is an element, a large element of danger. And
that meme is making the rounds right now, where that guy got stuck. The
I think it was like Putty Cave or something like that.
Yeah, and it's super sad.
That's the extreme
it's
version.
So extreme, but people share it like they just cavalier throw it everywhere. And I'm like, can we scrape this image off the internet? I don't need to start my day looking at that.
It's terrifying.
It is.
To non-cave divers. You're looking at that. You're like, why would you do that? This is crazy.
Right, it's not for you.
You're not squeezing yourself into tiny holes.
Not there. No. They're pretty large cavities. And the thing, it's very weird. It's also how my brain works. My brain is very much kind of like always on this hyper like awareness, I guess. And what's cool about scuba diving is it takes that part of my brain and turns it into a superpower, because now I'm like constantly having to look at my air, looking at this, making sure I'm doing this, and that constant, and not anxiety. I wouldn't call it anxiety because I'm not really anxious, but hypervigilant. And it allows me to kind of take that knowledge and go, okay, all right, I need to pay attention to my air. I need to make attention where I'm going. What direction am I going in? And it actually kind of brings me, which is very weird.
Does it ground
me
you?
It grounds me.
That's what I've said about it. It's very calming.
So, and a lot of pilots have this thing too. I have a couple of friends of mine who are airplane pilots, and it's that same feeling that like they always have to constantly look at their instruments. They have to do this, and it calms them down. It kind of like centers you, grounds you.
Yeah, it's
and
the routine
for that
the
hour or 2 hours. I'm telling you that being in that cave is actually the most peaceful thing I ever experienced, because it just takes all that stuff in my brain, goes like right in center, and it all of a sudden I just feel like I can like relax.
It's like a good world for you.
Yeah.
So I use it a lot too, diving for kids that have autism or stuff like that, and they find that sometimes the kids can like really get under there and thrive and focus,
hyper focus.
Yeah, because it takes the weight off of maybe an uncomfortability or something with their body they might have. But yeah, there is something very cool about diving. Even if you think you may not like it, it's worth trying it. I need to get back out there and do a dive.
My wife has that hypervigilance. It's good for a scientist, not so good for a wife. Because she notices everything.
Yeah. What is this on your? You have a hickey on your neck?
Not even that, just everything. So
I've had experiences. Yeah. What did you put that over there for? Why you didn't know where it was? I saw it immediately when I came inside.
I'm like, the back door's unlocked. How did you notice that?
I didn't even know we had a back door.
Yeah. So like for this weekend at Science Night Live, you're one of the speakers. What are you going to talk about?
So we're going to be talking about the science of science fiction, especially related to superheroes. Things like, can Superman actually change time if he were to like change the position of the Earth? We talk about Green Lantern and traveling through the cosmos. Are there life forms elsewhere? Those kind of things. So we're kind of tying in a lot of the stuff that's related to the superhero exhibit.
Love it.
But also, what's the science? Because you get people who just want to know, like, is this something that can actually be the case? Now, because I'm an astronomer, there's so much. There's a science of superheroes where you talk about the weight and this and stuff. That I'm more focused on more of like the astronomy, the space kind of sci-fi science of it. But
love it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm excited about talking.
I did always laugh at the idea of Superman flying the opposite way.
I wasn't
and
gonna say
changing
that.
the rotation of the Earth.
He's always hated that. I saw it in the literature, and I'm like, oh wow, what are the odds?
And then somehow that reversing time back in and then all the people on the Earth, how they didn't fly hundreds of 1,000 miles an hour.
Exactly what we're talking about.
And be killed.
Have you ever been on that graviton ride?
Yeah.
Imagine if that stopped all of a sudden and then went the opposite. It would be.
Oh, it'd be real bad.
You would have a very fun day that day.
That would, and there's no lawsuit because those carnival people have no money.
I guess if you really if you're like super strength, I guess you could have because what really is amazing. Like there are monks and stuff that can meditate and regulate their body temperature, and it's like you see them do it. They're
monks. I don't count monks. There's also that monk that can jump up and he can dip his toe into a glass of water 8 times before he lands. Have you seen that? There's a monk.
I need to look this up.
There's a monk and he can jump and he can take his foot and go into a glass of water 8 times before he lands, and it's like that's not. How do you do that?
But there are superpowers that humans have in real life that is pretty fascinating. Like there are people that can remember every moment of their entire life. Like that's crazy. Like even like Sean McVay from the Rams, he can remember
all the plays. Yeah,
every play he's ever called, and it's like people can remember insane things. Like there's a way their brain works, and also I can
remember every meal I've had at Sweet Tomatoes. You guys ever been to Sweet Tomatoes?
Oh yes, I miss that place, man.
I do too. I do too.
Those blueberry muffins.
Hell yeah, I knew I love this guy. Yeah, this is a Sweet Tomato man.
And then also
Sweet Tomatoes.
You can regulate your body temperature to a certain amount, and that's pretty fascinating.
My wife can because she's got pre-menopause.
What? Don't say that on the radio.
She'll always say that. I'm pre-menopause and I'm hot.
And I guess if you're if you had some sort of muscle, like if you're genetically born with your muscle fibers designed, a certain way, because chimpanzees.
You're inching into the territory that Marge Schott and Howard Cosell got into.
No, I'm saying chimpanzees are 10 times stronger than a human, and but they're smaller than us.
Yeah,
because their muscles are.
Well, their arms are also different fulcrums.
So,
literally, it's like a trebuchet of a weapon.
You can get close to superpower if and then. And if you're a monk, you regulate your body temperature and the breathing techniques. There's a science in.
I want something louder than the just being able to control myself, self-control.
Yeah.
Set myself on fire and I can just sit there and calm. I need something crazy. I need to fly.
Yeah. Bad with fire. We're good with frozen. We could do
frozen
ice.
Would be good.
Fire, haven't. It'll burn you good.
That's why when you were mentioning Chile and you were mentioning the, you were doing some observing there. There was a paraglider that recently took off from 10,000 feet. And then he got caught in an updraft, and it took him up to 28,000 feet, and he didn't have oxygen.
And he just conked right out.
Well, he didn't. He
really?
stayed, but obviously he was struggling, but he made his way down and landed, or he wasn't that high. I don't know, but yeah, it's that is a true thing. You can get yourself into a lot of trouble up there.
Well, again, Science Night Live, Jeff. Get your tickets because it could sell out, and then there is a actual limit. So
it's $20. So $20 all inclusive, except for the cash bar. You've got 4 floors of exhibits. Checking out speakers like Derek. We've got movies. We've got trivia and shows just a great evening. So yeah, go on osc.org and grab those tickets and enjoy the event.
Or become a member, which
just become a member because
easier.
It's summertime, and not only the Science Center have great summer camps, but if you're just looking for something to do with your kids and summertime, just take them to the Science Center. It's nice AC.
It's really,
you can just
really nice.
hang out. The kids can explore. You could explore the Science Center for weeks and never, hit every floor, and you never see the same thing. It's
100%.
awesome. So I suggest every parent become a member and just head out to the Science Center on those summer days that you're looking for something to do with your kids. That's not just them jumping on a trampoline, trying to get enough tickets to get some plastic garbage. You pay $30 for plastic garbage.
Derek, thanks so much for coming in, man.
Hey, absolutely.
The chat
It's
room
great.
absolutely loved you, Jeff. They love it when you bring in your scientist friends. We got to
you.
do this more often. It's give
who
a
do
shout
we need
out.
to thank?
Oh,
for
yes,
this, Jeff?
yes.
Yeah, look,
we need to give a
hold that up, Tom.
we need to give a shout out to Kyle and the Science Store. He is a big Tom and Dan fan.
Oh, Kyle, thank you, buddy.
And he got you this awesome swag from the Science Store that's from the DC Superheroes exhibit. You've got some coffee table books on
That's
DC
awesome.
Comics and DC movies.
Thank you, man.
All kinds of cool stuff there in the store that lines up with the exhibit.
There
That's
you go.
awesome.
Guys, check out Orlando Science Center. Derek, Jeff, thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate you. And
We'll see you Monday.
see you Monday.